Hello, my name is Kim Kimball, and this is Homeschooling Confessions, a typical day. And the giggler to my left is Brennan. He has homeschooled his whole life, and he has a 17-year-old sister who's not around that much anymore because she takes most of her classes at community college. In fact, I haven't really worked with her on anything in a good number of years, which is probably good because we're an awful lot alike. But Brennan and I still work together quite a bit.
Yeah.
We'll tell you about a typical day. There is no such thing. Today, Brennan did what? Which explains why he has this hat on. What'd you do?
I went skiing today. That was really fun with my dad.
But normally when you go skiing with Dad, you don't do homework. But today you did homework because you felt what?
I felt good about it. And
today you did homework because you have 2 classes tomorrow, and you had some things that were due for those classes.
Yeah.
Right. And so Brennan went skiing today, and Mondays we have a group we call ICKIs. Well, the kids call Ickies. It's an acronym. We didn't come up with the name. The moms didn't. It's a cooperative. We have about 9 families, and in the afternoon we pay to have a teacher come in, and she does science with the kids. This Monday you did
pulleys, and we attached them to the table, and
simple machines.
Up and down,
yeah. And we also, in the morning, the moms or the dads usually put on the classes. We try and make them as interactive as possible, as little lecture as possible, a lot of up and down. You guys did the first part about Leif Erikson going around the world out on the pond.
Yeah.
The pond's frozen. And then at the end of the day, we try and give the kids a test. I'm not a big fan of tests, but one of my regrets about my daughter, who was very creatively focused when she was Brennan's age, with a lot of dancing and acting and voice lessons, and so academics were not her occupation of choice, and so we spent a lot of time driving to places, and she didn't take a lot of tests, and as a result, she never honed her test-taking skills. And I'm not sure if she was a great test taker naturally to begin with, like her older brother is a great test taker. And the fact that she didn't have much time to practice wasn't good. So now we have tests every Monday, or we try and do every Monday with your class. But they're fun tests, mostly.
Yeah, they're really fun.
We call them open mom tests, which means there's not a lot of pressure. You can talk to your neighbors and work together as a group to fill them out, or if you're not sure about an answer, you can go and ask a mom, and then we grade them, and just to see if we have the right answers. But I don't think we put a letter or anything on the top.
No.
But sometimes you come up to me and say, will you grade this? And then I'll put something up at the top.
Yeah, and because sometimes we don't do that a lot, and it's kind of fun for me.
Yes. And but the best part of our tests is that then the kids get to take the test, a copy of the test home, a clean copy, and they usually administer it to a parent or a grandparent or a sibling. And so we're now the 3rd time reinforcing what they learned that day. They've become the teacher because most of the time when you give the test at home, people don't do very well on them, do they?
Nope.
And that's the fun part, when they know more than the older sibling or the adult. So that's a Monday. Tuesday we don't have anything, and we worked hard to not have anything on Tuesdays. And in our group we call Tuesdays Sacred Day, meaning if you want to plan a field trip or do an activity that's maybe got 3 or 4 sessions to it, that everyone tries to keep Tuesday open so that you can plan that and not conflict with everything else. There are so many activities in our group, and our group isn't really even that large compared to many. We have an orchestra. We have Musette.
Oh yeah.
We have a writer's group, which Brennan enjoys on Wednesdays. We have art classes, pottery classes, library classes, drama classes, drumming classes, There's so many I can't even think of them. Spanish class, which Brennan takes on Fridays. I really insist that my children take very few classes, but I do have a few things that I've required of my kids. I've required that they take swimming and that they learn to swim. I also have been insisting with Brennan that he take Spanish, and he's taken Spanish since he was little. Mostly it was a lot of songs and games and rhymes and singing. He's getting into a little bit more formal work in Spanish now. I'm not saying that he's a Spanish speaker, but I'm hoping... Okay, so he's not a Spanish speaker even after all these years of driving you to classes or having them here. But what I'm hoping is that he's going to develop an ear, and should he decide to study it more formally in the future, that it will come more naturally to him. And I think he knows maybe more than he thinks he does. He's starting to have written work every week now, so that's a little bit more challenging. That's Friday, along with piano lessons on Fridays. Thursdays he spends the entire day out in the woods from 9:30 to 3:30, and he's in an amazing group called Wild Earth, and they learn about tracking and animals, and they play games, and they build shelters. You get to use your knives.
That's fun.
That's pretty cool. And you get to play with fire.
And we get, not play with it, like make it. And we get to slide down big mud things, and because we don't want to be dangerous.
I think we mentioned Writers Group, which incorporates reading. We always have a book for Writers Group that we're going through, and just in the last 3 or 4 books, Brennan's read them by himself, and they're longer chapter books, and I haven't read them out loud to him, and that's been very exciting for both of us.
Yeah.
And I think, when my kids are little, I don't do a lot formal with them. As they get older, we do more and more formally. And then as they take that even greater step, I do less and less with them. We start finding more resources outside of the house. Even so, a good portion of Brennan's learning is outside of the house or with someone other than me. I think having a group has been very important and vital to us, and I would strongly recommend finding a group. There are a lot more activities that way. There's access to other kids, and it's fun when you can have. Sometimes we'll just have like a skating party, and we'll send out an email to everyone and say, "Hey, come on over and skate." Or about at Brennan's age, formally, he does a little math every day. I try to get him to write something every day. Sometimes it's as little as a postcard. One thing I do teach them about this age, too, is I teach them cursive writing. Even if they don't get great at writing cursive, I don't really care. My main criteria for writing is that they are able to read cursive. Though Brennan's cursive is really beautiful, and his sister can write in cursive, though I think she chooses to print most of the time. We don't have a TV. We do have videos. We get a lot of Netflix. In fact, we have 3 here on Native Americans that we've been working on. We don't spend a lot of time on video games. We do have some educational software, though.
And because I like going outside more and playing and exercise and that type of stuff.
Oh, you are just so politically correct.
No, I'm serious. I actually do that.
My problem isn't being relaxed enough. It's probably being formal enough. But I always tell new homeschoolers to relax, so there's a paradox right there. We will have more later. Thank you, Brennan, for helping me out.
You're welcome.
Time for bed?
Hello?
He's so 9.